Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Al-Fatiha.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
Just had a couple questions in mind. One thought that comes to mind is, what's some of your motivation to be in prayer or salat or chanting? What's some of the motivation to really get into the devotion?
The motivation for devotion, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The motivation for devotion is to fulfill the purpose of the creation of humanity. Because Allah says in the Quran, surely I created man and jinn for no other purpose than to worship me. So when you have a human being who does not have worship in their life, they're not actually fulfilling the purpose of being a human being. Because if you look at the animal kingdom, animals sleep, work, procreate, defecate, cohabitate, and have offspring. Human beings do those same things. So if the human being does not have worship in their life, they're on the level of the animal kingdom. So without worship, you're a two-legged, whatever your characteristics are. Maybe you have the characteristics of a snake, a sneaky dog, a backbiting monk, you never know. So the purpose of worship is to worship Allah. But from the esoteric viewpoint, you will come to know that the being that you are worshiping is your true self. So Allah said through the Prophet Muhammad, know me before you worship me. So you have to know Allah. And the Sufi perspective is saying this being Allah that I'm worshiping is none other than my true essence. And one Sufi master, Baal Muhammad, went so far as to say, only Allah can worship Allah. Only Allah can worship Allah. So that aspect of our being that is worshiping is the raindrop that has the intention to return back to the ocean.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
I have a quick one. As it relates to a young what is the best layman terms that you could possibly use to assist him in self-realization?
Self-realization is the goal of all humanity. And for a young person, they must begin to realize that they have more than one self. Sometimes it's hard for a young person. What do you mean I have more than one self? I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I go to school. What do you mean I have more than one self? Have you ever had a dream that you can remember? The fact that a young person has a dream that they can remember is a clue to their other true self. Because if you are sleeping, who is it that sees the dream?
Me, my inner self.
Exactly. So the true self does not sleep. So once you can see, wait a minute, I have a self that goes to sleep, and I have a self that sees a dream while I'm asleep. So there must be another self inside of me that doesn't eat, that doesn't sleep, that doesn't get sick, that never dies. As if a young person can start to identify with this other self that's beyond the one that goes to school and plays basketball or plays soccer, they can see from a young age they have another self that they can get in touch with.
So
Yes.
you're saying just like how people say, when I have children, I will never die?
Even if you don't have children, you'll never die.
No, I'm talking about like how they say they have like the same mindset.
Yeah, I can see that viewpoint. Yeah, some people who have some erroneous views, they say that they will live on through their children, not knowing that their self is immortal, and even if they don't have children, they will never die. That's a very good way to look at it.
I guess another one would be where something like the ganja would come in the path of spirituality. Is it there?
So you want the real answer or the politically correct answer?
The real answer.
Roll it, light it, smoke it. If you look at Hindu traditions, or the bhaktis, or even in the Kemetic sciences, they had flowers that were known as intoxicants that can take you to the other side. Now, according to the outer doctrine of Islam, they will say that's haram, that's forbidden. But if you look at the inner doctrines of what we call marifat, or the higher levels, if you look into Hinduism, you will find out that ganja is actually the incense of Lord Shiva. And you see the Hindu sadhus will partake of more ganja than a Rastafarian. A Rastafarian would tell them Hindus, man, y'all smoke too much.
Okay, exactly.
So you see that the plant medicine has been used throughout the ages, but only by adept seekers of high levels of mental stillness and emptiness, because some plant medicines are used as an aid to still the mind. And when the mind is still, the mind can become empty. And when the mind becomes empty, my teacher explained to me that Allah enters into the void. Allah enters into the void as long as you have your job, your family, your car, your house, and your mind. Allah says, and in Christianity, God forbid, they say God is a jealous God. Well, God is not jealous. There's nothing that God could ever be jealous of. But that concept in itself is saying God will not be manifesting through you when you have other objects of worship inside of you. And that was symbolized by the Prophet Muhammad, who, when he went to Mecca, they had 365 idols in the Kaaba. And the Kaaba represents the heart of man, the heart of woman. And going back to Kemet, you have the Ka and the Ba, the soul and the spirit. The union of the Ka and the Ba in the Kemetic tradition was a symbol of a God-realized being. So in Islam, we have the Kaaba, which is the outer symbol of the place of pilgrimage, which is really symbolic of this union of the soul and the spirit inside of the heart of the human being that can be aided or assisted by the use of ancient plant medicines.
Gotcha. Okay. The other last one was I know it wouldn't be easy to do, but to sum up some of the essence of Seri Tuba's message, what would you say?
The message of Serene Tuba,
as far as some of his poems and from reading his literature and what he brings up a lot.
Serene Tuba has many sayings. And one of Serene Tuba, Sheikh Ahmed Bamba's sayings that can sum up his teaching is, Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, Serene Tuba says, work as if you're never going to die, and pray as if your death has approached you. So Serene Tuba's way is an active Sufi tradition that says, I'm going to work for the upliftment of humanity. I'm going to work on my life goals as if I'm never going to die. But I'm going to pray to Allah as if my death has approached me. So Serene Tuba's way, if you look at his name in Arabic, one of his names is Qadim Rasul. That word Qadim comes from the root word Khidma. Khidma means service. So Sheikh Ahmed Bamba says, I'm Qadim Rasul, I'm the worker for Prophet Muhammad. So in our tariqah, in our way, there should be no lazy murids. A murid is one who does khidma or service. And then if you look at the greatest murid there ever was, Sheikh Ibn Fall said, work is worship. He just came and said, look, y'all do all that praying y'all want. I'm going to build a mosque so y'all can pray in it.
Okay.
Y'all want to make salat? I'm going to bring the water for y'all to make wudu. Y'all need prayer rugs? Let me go buy the prayer rugs for y'all to pray. So Sheikh Fall took Shireen Tuba's principle of Khidmah, Kadi Rasul, and said, my way is worship. So Shireen Tuba says, work and pray in a balanced form. And some will call that ma'at, balancing the two wings, the two scales.
Exactly.
All right, well, what would be the formula for material manifestation?
There are many formulas for material manifestation, and I'm glad you brought that up because in Islam and in some Sufi schools, you have the idea, and in the 5% Nation, you have the idea of the poor righteous teacher. That is really a foreign idea to Islam as a principle because two things. In the Quran, Allah says, Rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Allah says in the Quran, grant me the good of this world and the good of the next world and protect me from the fire of hell. Allah didn't say give me the good of the next world. And if you look at it, Allah says in the Quran, grant me the good of this world first. So then Prophet Muhammad went so far as to say the hand that's like this is better than the hand that's like this. So you have to have some material wealth in order to give so those who can receive. So once you get that principle out of your mind that being poor is righteous, who gave us that idea? Probably a rich person. So we can take our wealth and give it to them. So the Sufi says, no, the Sufi concept says, if you have only Allah in your heart, you will have the world in your hand. But if you have the world in your heart, you will have nothing in your hand. And in the Sufi school, there are certain formulas, prayers, incantation, verses of Quran that you can recite. Sheikh Ahmed Bamba got a whole prayer called Walaka Kramna Bani Adama. Anybody who reads this prayer will be wealthy and have money. And it's written by Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. Walaka Kramna Bani Adama. And
we gotta report that one next.
Yeah, I mean, and then Prophet Muhammad gave formulas for wealth. Prophet Muhammad says, if you wake up, I'll just give one. There's many. One easy one, Prophet Muhammad, I'm gonna tell you a story. A poor person came to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and asked Muhammad for some sadaqah, some charity. And Muhammad says to the man, you don't have wealth, you don't have charity, you don't have money or wealth? He said, no, I'm impoverished. He said, don't you know the prayer that brings you wealth? The man said, no. Can you teach it to? No, he didn't say, but he said, no. So Prophet Muhammad told the man, this is in all the Sahih Hadith, authentic narration. Prophet Muhammad told the man, listen to the formula. He said, wake up before sunrise. Pray 2 rakats. Before sunrise. After you pray, Prophet Muhammad told him to say, Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahi al-azimi, astaghfirullah 100 times. By saying Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahi al-azimi, astaghfirullah 100 times, then doing the morning prayer, Prophet Muhammad told him this will bring the wealth of the world to you. So instead of giving him fish, Prophet Muhammad taught him how to fish. That is a prayer anyone can use. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-azim, astaghfirullah. Subhanallah, glory to Allah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, glory and praise to Allah. Azimi, in abundance, astaghfirullah. And oh Allah, we seek your forgiveness. That's a good prayer to recite 100 times in the morning. But listen before sunrise, and it will bring you wealth, inshallah. Maybe the second one.
As far as like the marabouts and stuff, I've noticed, like, from going to the marabouts, I may ask them something, and then their prescription, they'll be like, either they'll say, I'll sleep on it, you know, and do some prayers, and then they'll give you something, you know, to either put in an amulet or put somewhere, you know, some type of juju, as they will.
Yeah. Juju mean something like this? No. That's around.
So something like that. Is it? I guess it's particular formulas or particular prayers that you just go in and you pray all night, or is it that you say a certain prayer, then you sleep on it, and answer comes to you.
There's so many. One thing I tell people, for every problem in life, there is a name of God that can deal with that problem. The issue is, and also for every problem in life, there is a verse in Quran that can deal with that problem. What we're saying, there's a name, one of the 99 names of Allah can address any problem. There's a verse in the Quran that can address any problem. There's qasidas from Sheikh Ahmad Bamba that can address any problem. And there's also certain what they call khatam or talismans that can address any problem. So when you go to the Marabout, he might have 5 different remedies for your problem. So sometimes he may have to do a reading or do a zikr and see a dream to know which one of these remedies is the best way for Bilal to solve his problem, because he has a deck of cards and all of them work.
Okay.
You might need one of the 99 names. You might need a verse from Quran. You might need a khatam or a magic square. You might need an animal sacrifice. The Marabout knows multiple ways. That's why sometimes he says, come back tomorrow, because he's going to, in Wolof they call it damai set. Set means I'm going to look into something.
Okay.
Damai set. I'm going to look into it and see what is the best way to deal with your situation. So that's why sometimes the Marabout might not give it to you the same day. He might say, come back tomorrow after he takes a look. He says, this is the best one for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right, give thanks.
Thanksgiving, local boat.
Jeff.
Man.